Alright, match 1. No acceleration, no way to cast Leyline Binding or Quintorius. But we are able to buy a little bit of time, so I think we'll keep this one. But especially against the mirror match, it might be a bit risky. Or a variant of a mirror match, I should say. Could be. Okay, we're not dead. Good. Pass. Hold up, Leyline Binding here. So it looks like we're actually up against the Quintorius mirror. And that is the wonderful mirror match. Match that for the Pioneer channel I couldn't get to save my life, but here we found it in the first match. Make sure to copy your Clever Impersonator copy instead of the original. Or sorry, Spark double copy, not mirror. Spark double, GG. Alright, game number, match 1. Alright, this hand has interaction, but no Quintorius. Sand has Quintorius. And is extremely suspect. Keep it and hope to get a little bit lucky with our mana-based draws here. Okay. Okay. All likelihood this hand's going to be too slow. Opponent goof there. They should have activated their Mutavault. Yeah, this hand was not a keep though. Yeah, that's more than lethal, so. Alright, that's 3. Oop. Not the ideal hand, but we'll keep it. Putting back Mountain. Herd Migration. Should have played Virtue of Persistence there. Bishop of Wings, sure. I'm playing against an awful lot of angels in the best of. The Keruga in the hand, even though it literally doesn't matter. But if the opponent gains too much life here, we could be in trouble. Okay, that's... Don't know, unfortunately, that we have enough. Double. Normally only having 6 clones isn't that big of a deal in most matchups, but in this matchup it just happens to put us too far out of the range of our opponent's life total. Still executing the combo, hoping they'll scoop, but doesn't seem like they will, so. Don't think there's anything left for us to hit in our deck, but yep, and we die, so. Alright. One of the advantages of having more clones in your combo, but very rarely is your opponent going to gain an inordinate amount of life if they're angels, and even angels sometimes doesn't gain anywhere near that much life in the first couple turns, so. Alright, this hand's not as obvious, but with Trumpeting Carnosaur, we do have a copy of the combo, plus we have some early interaction, plus a ramp spell, so I'm going to keep it. Apparently we got rid of the wrong permanent. White source here. Now, if we happen to draw Quintorius will be in good shape. 2, 4, 5, 8, 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're just too slow here? Question mark. Apparently, if I would have bounced that in response to the Gleeful Demolition, we would have had a chance this game. But yeah, we don't beat that with this board. Alright, taking a look at the sand. I think for a 7-card hand we can do better. This hand is pretty good. Put back, Spark Double into the deck. Okay, Merfolk. Well, Tidebinder is probably unbeatable. Or Herd Migration. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good game. Sure. Alright, opponent recognizes that they are in fact dead. But Tidebinder would have the ability to stifle the Discover trigger. That's the new addition to their deck of late, besides the Senionate Scout or whatever it is. But yeah, Tidebinder could stifle the combo, so I did the play around that in addition to any permission spells they might have had. Alright, final hand. We're on the draw, so the 6-mana play is a little bit more questionable. Okay, this hand's not the best in terms of speed, but at least we have all our covers of mana, and we're up against another Convoke deck. Cool. Okay, what do you got? Yep. Sure. Mm-hmm. And we did. Alright, so we are back with a quick wrap on Quintorius best of one combo. Now obviously we'll eventually get into the best of three version. Couple of things I've noticed. Number one, obviously, Herd Migration is a fine card, don't get me wrong, but I feel like you want to maximize on your Greater Tanuki and Beanstalk Giant to maximize your turn 4 ability to combo. Trumpeting Carnosaur is fine. I might shade one of these to add another clone effect to the deck, whether it be Clever Impersonator or Mythos. And I think in the current meta, the way things are set up, that you really want to maximize on instant speed interactions. So, you know, Consign to Oblivion, Trumpeting Carnosaur, kind of, Leyline Binding, Turtle is another one. I think Virtue of Persistence, while the life gain and -3/-3 can certainly matter, the fact that it's a sorcery, unless you're casting it specifically on turn 2, it is not good. You'd rather have the Consign to Oblivion, the Turtle, or the Leyline Binding to buy you turn time. So I'd probably cut down on the Herd Migrations, go up on the Greater Tanuki, shade one of these, get an extra clone. You may not need the extra clone effect, but you know there are some corner case scenarios where you want it. Turtle would also enable you to rebuy a Quintorius if it gets countered or discarded. The best of one meta is very much hypo-aggressive right now. The addition of the other Discovery combo with Artificer into Trumpeting Carnosaur, copying Carnosaur, Eldritch Evolutioning it into the Giant that gives everything haste and smashing is technically a turn to a half turn faster. So you want to maximize your ability to interact with that. You want to maximize your ability to interact with Boros Convoke, with Heroic, etc. So I think you need to play the deck strengths, which is interact on 2, ramp on 3, combo on 4. And I think maximizing your ways to do that is your best bet, and then obviously kind of adjusting the mana base to, you know, not have black spells in your deck. Maybe you don't need the second Swamp for Virtue of Persistence. Not sure what other avenues that opens up. Like obviously you still want one Swamp for Leyline Binding, as well as, you know, your various copies of Swamp to be able to turn on Leyline Binding, but Virtue of Persistence just is not the best of cards right now, at least in the best of one meta. A little bit better in best of 3 when you need another secondary threat in certain matchups. Herd Migration, something very similar, like the actual card, like casting it against, like, you know, Blue-White Control or something, can be relevant, but the ramping ability of it is, or the gaining life for basically lay of a land with gain 3 life. Beanstalk Giant, Greater Tanuki, ramp you, and guarantee the turn 4 Quintorius usually. So it's kind of the adjustments I'd probably make to this deck to make it a best of 1. Now, originally this was not a best of 1 deck, it was a best of 3 deck with the actual sideboard being Bedeck Bedazzle, which is certainly another card. Another card you could play is Repudiate Replicate. This is more for the mirror matches and stuff, so that's kind of... And then, Thought Distortion. Shevet Monitor is another one that you can potentially add to the party. You want to cycle it, but the problem with this one is it costs 4 mana rather than 3. I think I'd rather have the Greater Tanuki than the Shevet Monitors as my additional copies. But, yeah, this deck is a little bit easier to pull off combo-wise than the other Discovery combo deck with Artificer into stuff. Simply because Planeswalkers are a little bit more difficult to interact with. Your Fatal Pushes, your anything like that, it's kind of useless against it. Burn spells still work, at least ones that can target Planeswalkers. Your Shieldred's Edicts, those kind of stuff still top the combo. But it's a little bit harder to interact with Planeswalkers if your opponent ever taps out. Tishana's Tidebinder is certainly a card that can interact with it, but Merfolk isn't that commonly played. Maybe another clone or not. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Glasspool Mimic doesn't kind of fit the bill because it's not, that creates clones of creatures. Spark Double is important to the deck simply because it allows you to create a copy of a Planeswalker that's not legendary. Clever Impersonator is just, best of a worst batch. Can probably use this sometimes as a land, and then Mythos basically does the same thing, just more copies. So it's just a matter of, do you want more copies to be able to, those corner case scenarios against Angels, or do you want, a more consistent deck that has a little bit more interaction? So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like Explore content, and hope to see you for our next video.